Throughout my career, I've shot plenty of portraits, product work, and landscapes. But there's a category of photography that I've almost never touched: wildlife photography. This is a real shame since I live in British Columbia, where we have everything from temperate rainforests, alpine mountains, wetlands, and even desert, all inhabited by their own ecosystems of interesting animals. I think I've always avoided wildlife photography because it requires long lenses, patience, and the complete acceptance that you have very little control of what your subject will do. In today's video, I've decided to challenge myself by stepping out of my comfort zone and attempting to conjure and execute a difficult wildlife shot. But what animal should I shoot? I decided on the following criteria. It had to be uncommon in my personal daily life, it couldn't be too slow moving an animal, and have a unique behavior to capture on camera. One animal came to mind immediately: the osprey. It's one of the most unique birds you can find, and their diet consists of 99% fish, which they dive underwater for. Capturing an osprey diving just before it hits the water felt like a perfect challenge. And with the help of today's sponsor, ASUS, and their new GoPro edition of their ProArt PX13 laptop, we are going to set out on a road trip to find ourselves an osprey. I genuinely have no idea how this is going to go, but we are about to find out together how hard it actually is to get a shot like this. Now, before I can just hop in a car and drive several hours to an osprey hotspot, I need to solve my first problem. What am I going to use to shoot this osprey when I don't own a setup well suited to shooting wildlife? Luckily, Sony was kind enough to loan me the Sony 400-800mm telephoto zoom with an available Sony a7R IV. Now, the a7R IV, while still a great camera in many respects, was a generation before Sony introduced a dedicated AI chip in the R series. This means that while the autofocus is good, it's not going to be quite as sticky and accurate as Sony's latest cameras. The burst shooting is also capped at 10 FPS. This will all add to the challenge, but I feel up for it. For editing and processing all of these photos, I'm using the ASUS ProArt GoPro Edition laptop. This laptop packs a lot in a small package. It sports an AMD Ryzen AI Max Plus 395 processor with a 3 GHz base up to 5.1 GHz boost, 16 cores, 32 threads, and integrated graphics in the AMD Radeon 8060S. For storage, we have a 1TB M.2 NVMe SSD expandable up to 2TB, and the battery is 73 Wh. The display is a 13.3-inch 16:10 60Hz 3K OLED panel with 100% DCI-P3 coverage and is touch enabled with support for ASUS's new Pen 3.0. The hinge also flips 180 degrees so that the GoPro Edition can be used in tablet mode as well. On the left for I/O, we have the power in, full-size HDMI, 40GB Type-C port, and 3.5mm microphone headphone combo jack. On the right, we have the power button, microSD card reader, full-size 10GB USB Type-A, and another 40GB Type-C port. Because the GPU is integrated with the CPU, they can also share the impressive 128 gigs of unified LPDDR5X memory. I've never used a laptop with this much RAM before, but because it's a shared pool between the CPU and GPU, it should be great for smooth timeline video playback editing this video, as well as batch processing the potentially thousands of 61 megapixel raw photos that I'm going to take on this road trip. All of this is housed in this compact all metal design that works in subtle design cues from GoPro's cameras all over the body. In the box, it also comes with this GoPro branded hard shell case for travel, a 200-watt power brick, and a ASUS Pen 3.0 with a charger. Okay, now that we have our setup, let's head to Nelson. The first major task we had when we arrived in Nelson was to find the prime location to shoot the osprey diving shot. Not only did we have to find an osprey nest, but the nest had to be accessible to us and have a wide view of the water so that we would have a chance at catching it diving. We had no idea whether a location like this existed, nor did we know how long it would take to find it, even if it did. While our first day started off feeling promising due to seeing some osprey and their nest that morning, there was not a single spot that had both a nest and a good vantage point. So even though our entire first day was dedicated to location scouting, we came up empty.
I'm honestly getting a little bit worried that this shot is maybe too ambitious for the amount of time that I've given myself. I have 3 more nights here in Nelson, and that's all the time I have to get this shot. So to even just find the osprey today has been difficult, and I haven't even really been trying to get the shot.
On day 2, we finally found a spot that had not one, but 2 nests as well as a water view. This area was an old decommissioned bridge on either side of the river that ran through most of Nelson. It was as beautiful a spot as I could have asked for to get this photo. After spending all of day one finding pretty but ultimately unusable locations, this one gave me some hope. Out of curiosity, we decided to cross the river and check out the other side of the bridge. And that was where we found the best spot of all. A nest by the river that had a wide open view that was completely unobstructed by any trees. This was it. We could stake out the osprey here for the rest of the trip. I then proceeded to spend the next hour practicing following the osprey with the 4800mm lens. Tracking a bird handheld with a lens this long is not an easy task, but it was also very rewarding every time I got a half decent shot mid-flight. Since this location with the two nests that we found was relatively close to our Airbnb, we headed back up to it for lunch, and this ended up being a great time to review some of the photos from this first practice run. Editing on the ASUS ProArt GoPro Edition felt snappy and responsive, which helped a lot since burst shooting, even at 10 FPS on the A7R4, yields quite a lot of photos to cull through. Despite only being 13 inches, it was nice that this laptop also has a color accurate OLED display so that I could be confident in how things were looking so far. In the middle of editing, we actually noticed some osprey had flown up the mountain right up to the window of our cabin. This made for another solid opportunity to practice shooting them in the distance. This morning practice run with the osprey taught me two clear lessons when it comes to wildlife photography. First, the amount of data that can be generated shooting wildlife photos is fairly significant. Even though I wanted to make sure I got this shot, I also didn't want to waste storage and create a bunch of work for myself deleting rejects later by just shooting endlessly and hoping I got a good photo. I needed to study the osprey's behavior more so that I knew when it was worth pointing my camera in their direction. The second clear takeaway was how much distance the osprey cover in this area. Even with an 800mm lens, they were often too far away for me to get a good shot. If I was going to get the diving shot that I wanted, they would need to be hunting right in front of me along the river, which would require a good amount of luck. As we made our way back down to the bridge for the osprey's evening hunting window, we immediately got some action. I saw an osprey circling one spot in the sky, and I ran to the edge of the river as fast as I could. This felt like my first real opportunity to get this shot, and moments later, he did a dive. While I did technically catch this dive on camera, the osprey had dove into a side pool on the other side of this river, so he was still quite small in the frame. This wasn't really the shot I had hoped for. The good news is that this proved that this osprey would absolutely hunt for fish in this area. The bad news was that ospreys that don't currently have chicks they need to feed generally only hunt for a single fish each morning and evening. Given that this was the end of our second day, I only had 3 chances left to get this shot before our trip would be over. As expected, once our osprey was finished eating his fish, he settled into his nest for the rest of the evening, so we called it a night too. That evening, I stopped in a coffee shop to do some quick edits in Lightroom while also making notes on things I wanted to remember from this trip so far. Because the ASUS ProArt GoPro Edition comes bundled with the new ASUS Pen 3.0, I actually ended up using the laptop in tablet mode to take notes throughout this trip. It has upgraded pressure sensitivity from the Pen 2.0 that worked well for precise spot removal and manual masking adjustments in Lightroom. Like other ProArt laptops, the GoPro Edition also has the ASUS dial, which made the adjustments I made to each photo feel more tactile and surprisingly more precise than just using a mouse with Lightroom sliders. The next morning, we woke up at 4:44 a.m. to try to catch the osprey hunting for its first catch of the day. We arrived and got some immediate activity from 2 osprey moving from different points across the river. I was very hopeful that we'd catch a similar dive to the one we got the night before. Unfortunately for us, the osprey spent most of the morning just moving from perch to perch across the river. I did catch a few moments of them bringing back large sticks to improve their nest, which was pretty cool to see in person. We were also visited by a wide array of other birds throughout the hours that we spent with this pair of ospreys. It was honestly difficult not to get distracted by the other wildlife and make sure that we were watching out for what the osprey would do next, as the variety of birds we saw this morning was pretty cool. This went on for nearly 5 hours, and by 10 a.m. our ospreys weren't showing any signs of hunting. They seemed completely content just enjoying the day from their nest. Another hunting window over with no diving photo opportunity. It seems that waking up at 4:44 a.m. while early was not early enough, and they must have already completed their hunts by the time we'd arrived at the location. Truthfully, it was hard to be that disappointed because between all the other photos I'd gotten that morning and getting to just spend the day outside, I was starting to truly experience the appeal of wildlife photography. Because we had a bit of time before the evening feeding window, I decided to check out the side pool spot where the osprey had done the dive the night before. I wanted to see if we would have better luck in the evening staking out this spot instead. Once we actually got there though, the visibility of the osprey's nest was non-existent. It felt like too much of a risk to switch locations, as this location would have not allowed us to visually track the ospreys. Coming back to our main spot in the evening, we spent about 4 hours watching the osprey fly up and down the river with no sign of diving. I had gotten plenty of practice observing and shooting our ospreys at this point, so I felt pretty prepared. We just hadn't caught another dive yet. They must have chosen to hunt their fish along a different stretch of the river that day. As the light started to rapidly decline by 8:30 p.m., it looked like the ospreys were settling in yet again to their nest for the evening. Another failed attempt. I only had one chance left to get this shot in the morning before our long drive home. We wanted to increase our likelihood of success, so we got up even earlier the next day.
Well, despite getting up at 3:50 in the morning and getting here for 4 a.m., we've only seen the osprey once, and it's been really quiet here otherwise, except for some ducks.
We proceeded to spend the next 2.5 hours seeing very little osprey activity. We started to get nervous that they were hunting at a different location again, and sure enough, at 6 a.m., our fears were realized. Our osprey had come back with a fish from the distance. This meant that this was his one fish for the morning, and we were very unlikely to get another opportunity to see him diving. By this point, it had started raining, we were fairly exhausted from multiple early mornings in a row, and we had a nearly 10+ hour drive ahead of us, so we packed up and began our journey home. On our drive back, at each pit stop, I would set up the ASUS ProArt GoPro Edition anywhere I could to continue making selects and editing the photos that I did shoot. I shot over 2,600 photos on this trip, and because many of them were shot at such high shutter speeds at f8, it was nice to be able to denoise many of these shots really quickly. Denoising is usually a step in editing images I dread because it can be really slow, but it worked great here. As I worked through the photos, I found something surprising. When the osprey had visited our Airbnb's window, I'd actually seen another bird pass by that I thought might have been a hawk. It was quite far away at the time, so it was hard to tell what it was until I looked at it in Lightroom. It turned out to be a turkey vulture. Now, it wasn't the best photo, but I also later mentioned to Sophia that wouldn't it be cool if we came back sometime to track down a turkey vulture. It was just as unique looking as the osprey. As we continued our drive back, my luck with photos started to turn around a bit. We encountered a pack of wild deer in the forest on the side of the road, and I managed to get some portraits of them passing by before they ran off. Then, a bit further down the road, we discovered an absolutely beautiful view of a city that was about midway through our journey back, which was a good opportunity for some film photos. Finally, we came across a notable landmark called Spotted Lake and decided to pull over and check it out. Now, this next moment really felt like the kind of photography luck I'd been hoping for all trip. As we walked up to Spotted Lake, I clocked something in the distance riding the wind. It was a turkey vulture. And unlike the photo from earlier, he wasn't very far away from us. Plus, he was in front of an interesting landmark. I was not going to let myself miss this chance. He moved fast, going up and down with the wind, and I definitely missed many shots trying to track him until I got this one. Perfectly centered with Spotted Lake in the background, along with more of the surrounding landscape. I wasn't sure at the time whether the photo turned out, so at our next pit stop by river, I processed it through Lightroom immediately. Having a laptop as compact as the ASUS ProArt GoPro Edition meant that I didn't have to wait long to see how many of my shots turned out. While I did not get a shot of an osprey diving in the morning, this was a pretty good consolation prize. Once we got home, I did a bit more research to see whether there were any ospreys in our surrounding area, and I did manage to find one at a local lake. The next day, I made one final attempt at getting this dive shot. We went out to the lake at 5 p.m. to catch an evening hunting window. We found several ospreys, including a nest, and these ospreys had chicks which seemed to have hatched based on the way they were moving in their nest. This gave us hope that they might hunt again that evening, since ospreys with chicks will go out multiple times in a single hunting window. We waited a while longer without any signs of the male osprey diving. Then there was a moment just before the sunset behind the mountains where I thought the osprey might have been about to do a dive, but it was just swooping down to its nest. This shot was pretty much our last good bit of light for the day. We stayed a while past sunset, but unfortunately, our night ended without us seeing a dive from the osprey. After this last attempt, I spent the next few days editing the rest of the photos from this trip on the ASUS ProArt GoPro Edition. Now, it would be incredibly easy to focus only on how disappointing not getting the dive shot of the ospreys is, especially after this many attempts. I mean, an uncontrollable shoot like this is exactly what has kept me away from wildlife photography to begin with. My goal while taking on this challenge was to ultimately maintain my love for photography by trying something new. Challenges like this, even when they don't succeed, always teach me something that will make my future work better. By setting the challenge of this video to such a difficult shot as someone who doesn't do wildlife photography, I still came back with photos that I am happy with, that I wouldn't have taken had I not attempted this to begin with. I've also found a new avenue of photography that I'm going to keep pursuing. The ceiling for improvement is actually exciting because it means I get to feel like a beginner again, which for me is motivating because there is so much new that I can learn. The process of photography itself has always been the point for me. The resulting shots and completed projects do also, of course, matter, and I always want to produce the best work that I can. At the end of the day though, most of the experience of shooting is the process itself. As long as a project teaches me something by the end, I still consider it worthwhile. If I learned one thing from shooting these ospreys, it's that wildlife photography is a humbling experience. If you've made it this far into this video, I hope you try something like this for yourself. Take on a genre you've never tried before and challenge yourself to do a difficult shot within the genre. Even if you don't succeed on your first try, you will learn something that will make your next attempt that much easier. Shooting something that feels beyond your current skill level is, in my experience, when you learn the most. Thank you to ASUS for sponsoring this video, and if you guys want an incredibly capable laptop for creating on the go, you can check out the ASUS ProArt GoPro Edition at this QR code or at the first link in the video description.